awesome, great, glorious day it is. This is the day the Lord has made, and indeed we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Umubanga podcast. Remember, I have been doing this intro over and over, so by now you should have caught on to it. I've been hearing people mess it up, so recite it, hey? Today is exciting because our guest today is one of the faces representing one of Zambia's, well, it's still the biggest TV station. It will forever be the biggest TV station, ZMBC. She's a journalism expert, newscasting guru, television host, and no stranger to the public eye. She's also an actress who had an amazing feature on the popular series Kabanana and she finds herself as one of the stars on Morning Live Zambia. She's a fitness lover, physical health advocate, sports enthusiast, mother, and Mother Zambia's very own media frontliner. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge Umubanga welcome to Patricia Ellis.
You summed it up. Oh, what am I supposed to add to that?
Yeah.
You did your research well, good, really well. So impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So just ask that you move closer to the mic.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm glad to be here, and I hope that we have a fruitful conversation.
Yeah. So, look, I think I have seen you on TV like.
Don't even say what everyone says. I've been watching you ever since I was a child. Now that I'm older, I'm still watching you. Like, guys, don't make me feel like I'm a relic. I know I've been there like for the longest of time, but go easy. I know I'm becoming a veteran, but don't throw it in my face. Don't rub it there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've been in the industry for a while now.
How long have you been at ZMBC?
ZMBC, I've been there for 14 years now, and I had a stint on radio for like 3 years. I was with 5FM Radio before I joined ZMBC. So pretty much I would say I've been in the media industry for close to 17 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see 17 years like.
And you're watching me when you're young, and now you're older. You're still seeing me on TV.
Feels like I was young, now I'm old. Like.
Okay.
She's like. So who is Patricia?
Whew. Patricia is a very humble lady. I like to call myself girl. I know a lot of people are like, are you sure you're calling yourself a girl? I'm like, yes. In life, it's how you feel. If you want to feel like a girl, it's up to you. If you want to feel like a woman, it's up to you. If you want to feel like a lady, it's entirely up to you. But so I'm a humble, down-to-earth girl. I know most people are like, how do you know you're down to earth? But I know I am. So I grew up in Luansha. I was born there.
The gated city.
The gated city, the one and only gated city in this country. Yeah, I was born there 48 years ago. Okay. That explains why you've been watching me since you were young. Yeah, and I did my school in Luansha. I was at Impelembe Primary School from grade 1 to 7. That's until my dad died when I was in grade 7. And then from there, I went to Twashuka Secondary School, still in Luansha. I did 8 to 9. That was my junior secondary school. Then from there, I flunked my grade 9 exams. I was out of school for like 8 years. And then I resumed again. I redid my grade 9 like 8 years later.
Okay. Sorry to
I'll get into that
later. Please.
Yeah, and then I redid my grade 9 but by then I'd moved from Luansha to Lusaka, so I redid my grade 9, got my certificate, finally did my grade 12. So initially I was finishing school in 2001. I could have finished much earlier, 8 years earlier, but I finished 8 years later.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was born in a family of, we are plenty. I'm trying to get my siblings from my mom's side and my siblings from my dad's side. In total, we're like 13. I'm that one child in the middle that probably they won't even remember exists. Like, where is she? What's her name again? Yeah, so I'm like that child somewhere in the middle. And what else? I am a mother, as you rightly put it. Yep. I'm a fitness enthusiast. I love fitness. I've always been a sporty kind of person. So when I was at school, at Twashuka Secondary School, I used to take part in athletics. So I used to run in the 800 meters race, as well as the 1,200 meters race. But I was really good at the 800 meters race. 100 meters, hell no. That I couldn't do.
Yeah.
It was too fast for me. So I think pretty much my passion started from there. But even when I was younger, trust me, because I grew up between like the space where I was, when I said I was one child that was in the middle, I had my siblings who were like boys around me. I didn't have a girl, like a sister around me at that time. So my siblings were boys. So even when I was growing up, I was very active, sporty kind of person. I would climb trees, would go in the bush picking fruits because we used to live at a farm in Wansha. So, and would always be chased sometimes in the bush. I'd always be running. So I was a very sporty kind of active person. So even at school, it was only natural that I go into athletics. Other sports, contact sports, were a bit scary for me. I do not like getting hurt. So
like rugby or
things like netball, volleyball. I'm just like, okay, you're going to hurt me, so I'm not going to do that. So I avoided those. I did a bit of tennis at some point when my dad was still alive, but I was always the sporty kind of person. So hence, obviously, as I grew up, taking an interest in just keeping fit. And also my brother, my late brother, my young brother, also introduced me to gym at a really young age. I think I was about 19, lifting weights. So it kind of started from there, and he would take me most of the time. He used to go to Kawata gym, so he'd take me to Kawata gym. I would work out with him, and just from there, just I made it a habit. So over the years, whenever I have time, I would go to the gym, and I'd get a subscription here and there. And but I think taking fitness seriously was like maybe the last 5 years. That's when I like really just understood and felt like, okay, fitness is my thing. And here, it's my happy place. So then I took it as a happy place. Of course, I'm a mother, like you mentioned in your intro. I have 3 children. I have 2 boys, 16, both 16. And
Twins?
then I have if you might see, but anyway, they're twins. And then I have my daughter, my firstborn child. So I have 3 kids, a boy, 2 boys and 1 girl, and I'm an actress as well. I haven't been too active lately because my job does take up most of my time. So, but when I get a chance, I do.
You were in Tikula.
I was in Tikula recently. So season 1 and season 2, I had a couple roles in there. That's probably like my last acting stint. Well, not last, like the latest acting stint. Then I had a small role as well on Love Games. And like you mentioned, Kabanana, I had a couple roles on programs like Tears of Love. I think it aired a season on Movie TV back then. And yeah, pretty much. I haven't really gone full throttle into the acting industry. I love it, but then my work does take up most of my time. So I hate committing to a project where I know I might not be able to fully be there. Because I mean, if I commit to doing an acting job, I want to be there full time. So Tikula kind of works for me because Tikula, I've got a couple roles and they are flexible. They work with my schedule. So yeah, they'll find out when my day off is, and they'll just make sure that the entire day I do all my scenes and take them out of my way. I'm a journalist, as you put it. I'm a TV presenter. I'm a newscaster. I'm a producer. I produce programs as well on TV2. That's where I am. That's the channel I'm with now. So I produce and present a program called Woman 360. And I'm presenting on Morning Live as well on TV2, our breakfast show, which runs 3 times a week. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you have to wake up like 5
or 4 sometimes.
5 a.m. in the morning.
Because the program
3 times
starts
a week
at 6.
because you have to be there. Actually, you have to wake up at 4. At 4 so that you get there at 5. So pretty much that's me. What have I left out? What else do you want to know?
Okay, so in your educational gap, you took 8 years. What happened in the 8 years? Like, well, was it like the Jesus silent years where
wow,
at 12 we see him and then we only see him later at 30?
Imagine, yeah. Okay, so what happened was my dad died when I was 12. So obviously 2 more years I was in school. But then after that, it was a bit tough because sponsorship was kind of hard. So now I had to be out of school for like a good 6 years first. Then when I came to Lusaka, obviously I was able to find a job. I was working as a shop cashier. Like I was working as a cashier in a shop, in Freedom Way. So then I thought, okay, I am making a bit of money now. Maybe not what I'm supposed to make, but at least it's something that can help me, help put me through school. So I went to Kablonga boys. Then I inquired about evening classes because again I couldn't be in school full time because I needed to work and pay for school. So I went, I inquired. They're like, no, we have slots. You can come through. So I started there. Then I finished off at Kamwala High School. So that was like 2 years of going back to school. Then after that, I upgraded a little from, doing odd jobs like being a waitress, being a cashier in a shop. Actually, my first job was peeling cassava in a factory in Kitwe. I loved that job. I loved that job.
What did it teach you?
It just taught me that in life, humble beginnings are very important. And for me, I never forget where I came from. Like, it's very important that I remember where I came from. So even when I'm here, when I call myself humble, I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm humble like that. Like, for me, things I would have probably done back then, I can still do. Like, if I found people eating in cooked shima in a can, I could probably join them and eat with them.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person that would say, oh, this is no life for me now. I've been there. Yeah, and I won't even look down on those people to say, but why they're eating from there? That's how life is. Sometimes you're down there, sometimes you're up there, sometimes you're just there. But life has got phases. What's important is how you adapt to every situation that you're in. So that was pretty much like my first job. And then I got a better job at some point. I upgraded. I became a shop manager from cashier. That was huge.
Yeah.
I can see you smiling thinking, why is she so proud about being a shop manager?
No, but look, at that particular point in time, because that's like what, 19?
At the time, I'm just thinking, yes.
Yeah.
I don't even have grade 12 papers. I'm a shop manager, And I was getting a good salary. Back in the day in 1999, 2000, getting a 500 was huge. That was a lot of money. Yeah, but then the only thing is I had to move away from Lusaka and go to Kitwe because that's where the shop was. So I had to go and start staying in Kitwe. But then while I was there, because when I did my grade 9, I had a bit of, I had like 2 or 3 jobs that I had to keep. So then it became stressful for me to finish my grade 12. I was like, no, I can't manage. So again, I was out of school for 2 years. So that makes it a total of 8.
Yeah.
And then when I came to the Copperbelt, in my new role as a shop manager, which I was very proud about, I'm like, I've got all this time at my disposal. Let me go back to school. Let me start doing evening classes all over again, like I did for my grade 9. So I started doing evening classes, and I did it for like 2 years. Ideally, your senior secondary level is done in like 3 years in the Zambian school system, but I did it in 2 years because also I was looking at the fact that time is running out. So I just sort of like just pushed myself to do it in 2 years. So I sat for like 8 subjects and cleared them.
All of them.
Yes, and I had my GCE grade 12 certificate. I was like, yes, now my life starts. And for me, trust me, the minute I got my GCE grade 12 certificate, I was like, yes, and my broadcasting career starts. Because, mind you, I wanted to be in the media industry. I wanted to be a broadcaster.
So from
ever
inception.
since I was 6.
Okay.
Yes, I as far back as I remember, I was 6 with my dad in the living room watching. Well, it wasn't called ZNBC back then. It was called, I don't know,
ZBS?
ZBS, something like that. Back in there, I was young. I was 6. I probably can't even remember. But I remember that those are the times when we had Maureen Kando doing Flashy Kids, and she also used to do news. And I think you had the Frank Mutubilas of this world, and da-da-da. So I was watching, and it hit me. It said, wow, she's a good presenter.
Yeah.
That was Maureen. I was watching Maureen Kando. I was like, wow, she's good. And I was telling my dad, I said, Dad, I am going to sit on that desk one day. And he's like, oh, really? I said, yes. He says, no, you can do it. I mean, go for it. The sky is only the limit. I said, oh, cool. And it's from that point, I just knew that what I wanted to do was to be a broadcaster.
Yeah.
At some point, a little later when I grew up, I'll be like, okay, if it doesn't work being a broadcaster, maybe I'll do some acting. But guess what? I did both. Yeah. So I did some acting and I did my broadcasting career. So for me, when I was doing my grade 12 and I finished, the first thing was I need to go and enroll and do my journalism course.
So where did you do it from?
So I came back to Lusaka again now. I was done with the job on the Copperbelt, so I had to come back to Lusaka. And then I was so excited because I wanted to enroll at Evelyn Horn. And for me, I only heard that Evelyn Horn was like the best journalism school.
Yeah.
And then I get there hoping that probably they have a part-time or evening classes or something. And unfortunately, they didn't have.
It was strictly full-time where you have
full-time. So I'm thinking, okay, drat, what do I do now? So then I start looking around for schools where I can go, where I can, like do correspondence or just evening classes. Then I stumble on some college on Lottie House, 9th. That was on the 10th floor. Yeah, someone told me, no, there's actually a college that offers journalism and media studies, but the exam is done by a UK institute called Institute of Commercial Management. It was called Victoria Institute, I remember. So I went there, I enrolled, and all my details and everything were sent to that school. But then like a semester down the line, apparently Victoria Institute closed down. But I continued corresponding now with the Institute of Commercial Management.
Okay.
Exactly. And it was when I was going at that school, I overheard someone actually saying they are looking for newscasters at 5FM radio, because 5FM radio was on the 9th floor.
Yeah.
I used to go to school on the 10th floor. And I actually walked up to them and asked, I said, I heard you saying that they're looking for newscasters. Where? And they're like, it's just here. It's a news station. It's 5FM radio. They're just starting. I said, okay. Okay, thank you very much. And I went in. I asked for the manager or whoever the owner was, and they told me, oh, no, he's the owner, Mr. Mateo Pierre. I was like, okay. Hi, sir. How are you? My name is Patricia Ellis. I've never worked in the media industry, but I can read news. I've never read before, but I know I can read news. And I've heard you're looking for casters. And he looks at me, he laughs. He says, well, I love the honesty. At least you're honest enough to say that you've never read before. So what are you doing at the moment? I said, I'm studying for my diploma. Again, he laughs. So he says, okay, so you're studying. You haven't even finished your studies. I said, no, I haven't, but I'm studying. But I know that if you try me out, I can do news. Just try me out. I was so confident because I used to record tapes back in the day when I was young. I don't know if you guys understand that we had tapes back in the day.
I do.
You guys are in the era of flashes and the CDs and stuff, and whatever new things, gadgets have come up. We had tapes, cassette tapes. So what I would do is and then I had like a little player where I would press and record myself reading something. So I'd literally just even get a newspaper, and I would listen to maybe, say, the 13 Hours Network News, and I would follow the format, how it's done. Then I would go on the recorder, record myself, and then play it over again and listen to myself. If I'm not happy, I'll do it all over again until I perfect it. I feel like, okay, it's okay. I still have those tapes somewhere, I think, in the house. Awesome. So then, for me, walking up to Mr. Mateo Piri, shame, he's late now, may his soul rest in peace. Very a good man, the owner of 5FM radio. I walked there with confidence, knowing I have done this so many times on my cassette record. I can't fail now. Yeah. Like, I'm going to nail it. Just give me an opportunity. So he says, okay, so you say you can read news, I said, and you've never read before. I said, no, but I know I can. And then he says, okay, when do you want to come for the audition? I said, well, I'm here. What's the point of me coming another day? I might as well do it now. Again, he burst out laughing. He's like, what? I said, I'm here. I mean, if you're able to do the audition for me now, I'll be super happy. He says, okay, fine, let's go. So he goes, he tells the technician, I'll record her, I'll listen to it later. And the guy recorded me, and I was like, okay, I'm done. He says, okay, pass through tomorrow on your way from school. I said, okay. So in the morning, go to school. I think I was done with class around 10:30, and because I was too excited, I was just going down the stairs to go to 5FM radio to go and hear what the verdict was. So I find the man. He was like, oh, wow. I listened to your audition. It was really good. For someone who's never read, impressive. I was like, oh, cool. He says, okay, so when would you want to start? Like, I'm happy with what you did. When would you? I said, I'm here. Why not start now? And he was, you're a very crazy human being. I said, well, let's do it. So he's like, okay. We have headlines at 12. Are you up for it? I said, no problem. Headlines at 12, headlines at 14. I think we had headlines at 16 as well. Because I remember 18:30 was main news, then 12:45 was main news again, then I think they had another bulletin in the morning. And then I was like, oh, impressive. When can you come again? I said, tomorrow. So like I did that for a good 3, 4, 5 days. Yeah. And then the 5th day, I don't know what made me stay on until about 18. I don't know why I wasn't going home that day, but it just worked to their advantage because apparently their caster didn't show up for the main news. And they're just like, okay, Patricia, you're here, main news. I'm like, okay, now that's a bit too ambitious. He says, no, just go and do it. And I actually went and did that news. Trust me, I don't even remember what I read, but I just know that I did it. I was super nervous. It was like an entire 30 minutes of a bulletin. I was like, okay, now this is when I'm just going to mess it up big time. But apparently they were super excited when I walked out. Like, wow, that was good. You nailed it. Da, da, da. I was like, yes.
I bet you can go back and ask for those tapes.
I probably could. I hope they've saved them somewhere. So anyway, it's at that point, Mr. Mateo goes, look, I think let's do it up a contract. Start working as a part-time newscaster.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. He says, okay, I will offer you this job because you're still at school. But when you're done with school, bring me your paper, then we can give you a fresh arrangement. So I think I was done like a year later, because I think I was already a year in school. A year later, got my diploma, rushed to him, super excited. I was like, I've got my diploma now. And he goes, oh, wow, okay. Draw up another contract. Now this time I was in full-time employment. I was actually a news reporter as well as a newscaster. And then I could also present, because I remember that time I was presenting a program called, moderating a program called Awisi Jokiwe. Then I was a reporter in the field. And it was through now going into the field as a reporter that I bumped into Doreen Mukanzo. She was working for ZNBC.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, you, because when she heard my name, she was like, you're the guy here reading news on 5FM radio. I was like, yeah, that's me. That's me. Oh, okay. No, you read very well. Okay, so listen, we might have auditions soon. Give me your number. I'll call you. I think I gave her my number 3 times or 4. Every time I bump into her in the field, she'd be like, give me your number. Give me your number.
Oh, I need your CV.
I kept on giving. I said, no, she'll call me one day. She'll call me one day. And apparently around that time, I had actually auditioned now for the Amina role. So I got the role as Amina. And at that time, we were recording at the ZNBC studios. So I would also be found at ZNBC studios recording, Kabanana.
Yeah.
And then it happened that one day, I think I was about 3 years into 5FM radio by then. I'd worked for them for like 3 years. I worked that long, actually. I get a call, and this is Doreen now calling me, frantically calling me, like, Patricia, where are you? I'm like, I'm on my way to ZNBC, actually. I'm coming to, record Kabanana. Good. It's a good thing that you're coming here. How far are you? I'm like, I'm just on Thabo Mbeki. I should be there soon. No, we're doing auditions here, and you need to get there in the next 10 minutes. I'm like, what? 10? Like, who caused someone to show up in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
There was a bit of traffic. I was just like, please drive fast. I need to get there. I think I dropped off somewhere by the robots there. I went in rushing. I was
your feet,
sweaty. So. I was, yeah. And then I am just getting there. They just switched off the lights in the studio. And I'm just like, I'm here. Guys, I'm here. And then she's like, oh, she's here. Please switch on the light. She's here. They didn't even give me a moment to go through any script. It was just like, sit. I was like, okay, this is weird. Anyway, I sat. So then they give me a program, because back in the day we used to have what you call a program schedule where you announce the programs that are coming on ZNBC. So they gave me that as my first assignment. Okay, that one had a lot of thereafters in it. At that point, my mind was blank. I couldn't find any word to replace thereafter. So I kept on saying, oh, thereafter we'll have the news. Thereafter we'll have Chansa. Thereafter we'll have thereafter. And then we'll have national anthem and close down and I went through that. I was nervous. That was 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember very well 2006. So anyway, I'm done with that one. And I'm thinking I'm going to be given, breathing space. Next thing, news scripts. Okay, you're done with doing the program announcement. Let's go to news scripts. I'm like, okay, at which point do I breathe here? Oh, it was crazy. Trust me. So news scripts start. The news is on. They even play me that sig tune and stuff. I'm on air. That one was a piece of cake. That one was a piece of cake.
Look, you did 3 years already.
Exactly.
So
it may not have been TV, so probably I had the worst facial expressions I can imagine. If I were to watch that audition, I would just be like, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. Because even when I initially got into reading full time, my facial expressions were terrible at the beginning because I was so used to radio. So anyway, they give me this chance, do your news. That one I nailed it. I was done. I was just like, yeah, done. And then I left. I even continued with filming Kabanana. I continued with my job at 5FM radio. And then 3 months later, I get a call. Around November, somewhere there. Okay, this is ZNBC. We just want to let you know that you've got a part-time job as an announcer. I'm like, ZNBC? Which ZNBC? And I think for some reason, I even forgot that I even went in for an audition. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, ZNBC, cool. So what am I supposed to do? No, come through and, come and get your letter. And also you need to do medicals and whatever. I said, okay. And trust me, you would think that I'll probably say, okay, because I think I got that call around 13. You'd probably think that I'll maybe go the next day or something. If you know me very, you know that I got there the same day. I think within an hour, I was already at ZNBC.
Before you know it, the next day, they might change minds.
They might change their mind. I said, So I said, I got a call that I'm supposed to pick up a letter for, I've gotten a job, and the guy I found in human resource, he was just like, wow, we've never had someone come here so fast. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I think I just broke the record. So I got there, got my letter. The following day, I was doing my medicals.
Yeah.
And but then I had to put in notice with 5FM radio. It was the most painful thing to do. I feel like that was where I launched my broadcasting career. And as much as I was excited to be making this move, I was also very sad because I worked with a boss who was really nice. Like,
and gave you an opportunity.
Exactly. First of all, he gave me an opportunity, and I was just a nobody. Like, he could have just said, get away from me, you're making noise. But he gave me that chance, and I think he groomed me also.
Yeah.
Like, he groomed me to get to where I was. And it was the most painful thing to actually walk to him and say, look, I got a job. And he just goes, ZNBC, right? I said, yes. They poached you, right? I was like, yes.
I guess they gave him a brief.
And he actually mentioned who poached me. He says, Doreen, right? I said, yeah. So anyway, I was like, okay, now I'm putting in notice. I think I put in 2 weeks notice. No, that was 2 weeks notice, yeah. I said, okay, I'm putting in 2 weeks notice. And then I went on a final day of my work. I think I did news in the morning. I had an early morning shift, the 6:15 news. I did that. Had an interview on radio. They even played me a goodbye song. I'll never forget that song, Life for Rent by Dido. So they played me that song. And 8 hours on the dot, I was at ZNBC. I reported for work on the 20th of November.
2006.
And that's how, I started working at ZNBC. And here I am. So I worked like for 3.5 years as a part-timer. Then 2011, they confirmed me as a full-timer, and I've been there since.
Okay. So I guess they brought you in now just to be announcing.
Yes. So at the beginning, I was just brought in as an announcer. So it was me. I remember starting my job at ZNBC the first day. I was with Mary Mwekesa. So it was me and her. So they brought me as an announcer. But at the same time, they were grooming us to do newscasting because as an announcer, you also needed to read the news. So back in the day, there was an announcer who did the 22 hours news, not the way it is now, where casters, the main casters are the ones that do the 22 hours news. Back in the day, you'd do the announcements there were like 2 shifts. You'd have 1 shift in the morning and 1 shift in the evening. So when you take over the evening shift, you're the one who's doing the program announcements, and then also you're doing the 22 hours news. So it was more or less like a training ground to just get you used to, in case you find yourself on the news desk. Because there were instances where maybe a newscaster doesn't show up, and then you're thrown there and thrown in the deep end. So that helped. But trust me, it was still scary, even though you were reading 22. There's just something different about sitting on the main news desk, because you feel like, I think for some reason, because everyone is tuned in at that time. Yeah. And you just feel like, I think there's a wider viewership on this platform than there is on 22. I know people do watch 22 sometimes when they pounce on it. But for main news, everyone literally is seated waiting for main news.
So what was your first experience now sitting 19 hours. Over 10 million people watching.
I would never ever forget that feeling. First of all, I was nervous. I do not remember making a mistake, like fumbling or anything. No. But I was just outright nervous. When I look back I actually went and played it and looked. I had all sorts of facial expressions. I'm just like, my lip was going that way, and I think I was trying to emphasize words. I was trying to, just sound like I'm a seasoned newscaster, and I wasn't. So anyway, I had all sorts of facial expressions, and apparently my makeup was a total mess. Not bad, but obviously it wasn't like the best of makeup. I did dress smartly though. Like I wore this nice navy blue outfit, but it was nerve-wracking, trust me. And then actually Doreen comes to me and she says, "How was it?" So I'm just like, okay, let me shine here. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. She says, "You're mad. if you did not feel nervous, then you're not normal. It's at that point I'm just like, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you have no idea. I was nervous. But then I think the first time I went there, and I didn't go there for like another maybe a year or so, because obviously you had to like really earn your place. It takes a while for you to like earn your place on the desk.
Yeah.
Again, it happened that some caster didn't show up and I stood in. But again, I still didn't get my slot on the desk. And then this other time, someone else like was running the desk while the main person who runs the desk was away. And he was like, Hugh, you've always wanted to read news. This caster is not showing up. Come all dressed up for the news. Oh, but this time I made sure that I found someone to sort out my hair, someone to sort out my makeup, so that there's nothing like, no, your hair didn't look nice, your makeup didn't look nice, and I think I was more confident this time around. So when I sat there, I nailed it. By the time the owner of the desk was coming back, they just found I'd already been on this desk for like a month, and I've been since. I think I've been casting news for the last 10 years, somewhere there.
Okay. So I do understand that at this particular point you were... people would still see you on TV in Kabanana and
Well, by the time I was done with because I think it wasn't much of a long stint. At some point, Kabanana changed hands, because the time I was filming, it was, I think, in the hands of Lawrence Thompson. Then it changed hands. It went into, it must have been a Zimbabwean company that took over. The time now it went to those guys, I was no longer part of it. Actually, they had written out Amina as in having gone to school, I think in Australia or something, or she had left or something. So I wasn't in that one, and I didn't even go and audition again.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
I just left it at that.
But there was some screen time which people saw of you.
Yes, definitely. Yes. So obviously when they saw me on TV, they could relate to me as Amina from Kabanana. So it was, the newscasting thing was still very new to me.
Yeah.
People probably didn't even know that I was, like into the media, into the broadcasting industry. But then obviously in time they got used to that. I did a couple roles, but I think the most prominent one that people still remember is the Amina role.
Okay. So you're on the news. Did you call your family to say, hey guys,
definitely
set it up?
Definitely.
I am the guy.
Definitely. It's a thing now. It's a pity though. Back in the day, we never used to. Did we ever used to record news then? Did we have the PVR? No, I don't think so. Maybe it was there. I just couldn't afford it.
They were not that common.
Yeah. If it's now, I still probably would have that recording, because I would have just asked someone to record it for me. But yeah, obviously, I told my family, I told my friends, and guys, watch. Be reading the news today.
And what was the feedback after?
Super excited. That was good. That was what? Yeah. So I got good feedback from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're coming from radio, now adjusting to the main screen. You have over 10 million people watching you pretty much every day. Now you're going out in the street. How was that? And it still happens now, I believe.
It's probably even worse now. So remember when I said I'm this very humble human being, kind of being?
Yeah.
And this is when now we need to emphasize the point. So for me, I know people would recognize me in the streets and they'll be super excited to see me. And naturally, I do have this friendly thing about me. Like if someone approaches me, I'll be polite and friendly. If they want a photo or something, they want to greet, I'll be like, oh, hi, how are you, and stuff like that. And obviously, maybe having a coverable background also just gives you that, bubbly kind of personality. And sometimes you'd even, talk to them in your local language. I'm Rishan Wakamba, figure, stuff like that. So they'll be like, they'll relate with you.
Yeah.
And people like it like that, other than when you're too uptight. So, and again, I'm not the kind of person that would say, oh, just because now I am at this point, let me... Well, you will make adjustments to your life, but there's certain things that, for me, I still do, even now that I'm in the limelight, okay? Like, I'll tell you something, probably something that people don't know. I love secondhand clothes. Why? Because you find unique pieces.
Yeah.
Like, totally unique pieces. Not that I can't afford to buy in a shop. Actually, I can. But then, when I go in a shop, I'm thinking, okay, I pick this from the shop, and then I'll have 6, 7 other people wearing it. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking I've spent this money for this outfit to be out there and 10 people are wearing it. So I would rather do secondhand clothes. And trust me, even to this day, I would go to City Market, I would go to Soweto Market, and people would say, yeah, wabelenga news by NBC. But Patricia Ellis, mabolo tutanda lilako na bolo mtanda na bolo gulako you know, stuff like that. And then you relate with them like that. So there's certain things, trust me, I did back then and I still do now. Like, it hasn't changed who I am as a person. I'm still me. I'm still Patricia Ellis. I do a job people would perceive as extraordinary or special. I don't know. For me, it's just my job. It's my job. It's my passion. It's my happy place. But when I get off that set, I am just simply Patricia Ellis, the girl that grew up in Rwanda, the girl that people called Patty. You know, that was like my little shortcut for my name. And it doesn't change who I am. I go home, I'm a mother to my kids. I've actually even forgotten that I was on the news and the entire country was watching me. I just go back to being me. I go in my chitenge, in my little top, flip-flops. I'm all over the place. Even in my neighborhood, I would come out with my chitenge. There's nothing like, no, I'm going to come out with makeup. Hell no, I don't even like makeup. I hate makeup. Makeup is not really my thing. Like, because it took me a while, even when I started reading news, to like get. If you look at some of the videos for back in the day, there are times when I'll just go with a bit of Vaseline on my lips, because I just didn't. I didn't like makeup. I still don't. Even now, when I wear it, now that I'm a bit older, it's just really for TV. Okay. But when I go out there, like on any other given day, trust me, you bump into me, I have no makeup. Yeah. You probably won't even recognize me.
Very recognizable face. So
who knows? Maybe they're like, is she the one? We see her with makeup. She looks different. Yeah. So that's me. So nothing much really has changed. I'm still the same old person. Certain things that I did back then, when I was an unknown person, I still do. Foods that I ate back then, I still do. I have no problems going to certain places. I'm pretty much me. Like, nothing changes. Like, nothing really changes. I don't think what you call fame has really changed me into someone I'm not. I feel like I'm pretty much the same person. The same person you may have known 20 years ago is the same person you meet today. Maybe just a little older, a little wiser. And, yeah.
Awesome. You spoke on the aspect that you're a mother. How was that journey? I guess it was in that space where you're now rising into this broadcast journey.
Yeah. So with my daughter, I had her a little earlier before I even went back to do my grade 9. So I had her pretty early. I was 17. So it was at that point I realized, okay, now I have a child, and what happens to this child's future? I think I need to sort out my future before I can even, think of the child's future. So at some point, I had to now think of, okay, let me go back to school. So my mother-in-law was helping me out. The grandmother to my daughter was helping me out, look after her. And then I took myself back to school. Yeah. For the boys, I was a little older. I was like in my 30s. I think by then I had a job. It wasn't as bad as it was with a girl, because then I didn't have a job. I had to take myself through school. And yeah, so for the boys, it was easier. But obviously, when you're trying to build a career, you're trying to get yourself through school, it's not easy, because you need to also find time. As you're doing all those things, you need to find time to fit in the kids into your whole program. Yeah, so it was difficult, but I did it, and here I am. And my daughter now is a grown 30-year-old woman. She's also a teacher by profession, and here we are.
So the two boys, I guess your daughter now is like over it, like, it's like, but for the boys who I guess are still in school, or
no, they're in grade 11, completing next year.
So I guess there are times when their friends pop up like, "Oh, I saw your mom on
TV." Yeah, actually, that happens a lot. That happens a lot. But for some reason, I think my kids are like me. They're just as down to earth as me. They're not really that fazed by the fact that they have this mom who's so well known. maybe because I've grown up with them, so they don't really see the need to be so excited. They actually don't even watch news. That's so annoying. Like
they do a prophet is without honor in his hometown. So
I think so. Once in a while, they'll be like, "Oh no, our friends at school said they saw you on social media." Especially like when you post a picture with them, which I hardly ever do. I try to just, by all means, keep
them away
children away from social media, because social media can be really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I probably post them on their birthdays, and once in a blue moon, maybe just when I feel like, but mainly it's just about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I try to keep as many things as possible away from social media. Things like my fitness journey, definitely I'll post. Maybe a bit of my acting bits here and there I'll throw, but mainly it's just about my day to day. Patricia as a person every day. So I'll post a picture of, I was at work today. Oh no, I did this. Or, sometimes I just do calls and stuff like that. So for my kids, I try to avoid posting them. But when I do, then their friends will be like, oh no, we saw you with your mom. Da, 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 da. My son one time even actually says, you know what? At school, I was telling this, like he happened to have mentioned, to say, that's my mom. And then the friend's like, liar. You just want to be associated to someone who's famous. And it's when that guy actually saw the picture, well, I think there's a picture that I had posted on Facebook, that he believed that, so my guy, you were right. You know how these kids speak now. Oh, my own, you were right. That's your mom. Oh, wow, I had no idea. So sometimes they don't even believe them. Like there was a point where they will not believe, but I think maybe now it's different. Yeah. Even when I took him to his new school, the teacher, so sometimes also he becomes a little uncomfortable. Like, but did they have to mention that you're in the limelight? So they were like taking him to class, and the teacher was excited. Oh, he's actually Patricia Ellis's child. He's like, what? She did not just do that. But anyway, moments like that. But for me, I just feel like they're down to earth like me. Mm-hmm. They do not make a fuss about it. They are just like cool with it like that. Yeah. For me, I think they just see me as mommy.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't see anything beyond mommy. Like mommy that works for ZNBC provides for us and all that.
So, on your acting, I'll bring you to the current one. I think
Tikula.
I think I watched the whole of Tikula season 1. I haven't done season 2.
You should.
But your character in Tikula, abusive.
Yeah, very abused by the husband. My God.
Relationship.
Yes.
When that role was given to you, was it something where you're like, okay, you know what? I think I can jump on this role and
yeah. I think I was pretty excited to play that role because I think at some point when you're growing up, you do experience a bit of abuse, maybe in relationships. And I did experience a bit of it. So for me, playing that role kind of, felt like, okay, I understand what it's like to be abused. So I was excited to play that role. And obviously, it spills over into season 2, where the abuse continues. This person is constantly abusing me. And at some point now, I have to make this decision to say, okay, enough. I have to free myself. And I think it for me, it portrays a very important lesson, because there are a lot of women there, trust me, Umubanga, that are going through relationships where they're being abused, but will stay on because maybe the man provides. And I think that's the case in Tikula. If you notice, Mimi's mom stays on because she's given a certain kind of lifestyle, a bougie kind of lifestyle.
To say, why can't you leave?
And she definitely wants to stay on and live that kind of bougie lifestyle. Of course, she's got the sensible daughter who feels like, Mom, we can't handle this. We can't tolerate this, We need to leave. But obviously, she doesn't understand that once she leaves, then life changes. Now they go into a different kind of lifestyle. But there are a lot of women that are stuck in that kind of relationships, in those kind of relationships, and are not leaving. And sadly, we do hear cases of people that are killed, or reverse the whole scenario. Maybe it's the wife that ends up killing the husband because she can't handle it. So it's just, for me, it sends out a very big lesson there to say, yes, you can be stuck, but at some point, you just have to make a decision and leave. And if you obviously going to watch season 2, you will find the part where she's sort of contemplating about leaving. She's actually left and she's at her sister's house, and so. For me, it was an important role because I felt like, why not play that role and be able to send that message out there to people that are stuck in those kind of situations, to say, you can leave. Having a bougie lifestyle is not everything in life. You can start all over again. I probably did have a situation whereby I was, in a little bit of an abusive relationship, and I had to leave. I had to leave to say, let me leave and start all over again and do this for my life. And not many people will have that strength, but I guess it's just a message we need to keep sending out there, and hopefully people will hear it, and we'll have, less people being killed because they were stuck in abusive relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your social media is mainly filled with your workout.
Yes. I do have my personal page. I do have my personal page, which I've neglected a little. But that too, I think, has some of my workouts, but I try to just make it a little more personalized as compared to my fitness page. But all along, I had my personal page.
Okay.
That's the page that ran. And then until, like I said, I took fitness
5 years ago.
Seriously about 5 years ago. But the page, I had that page for the longest of time, apparently. I had it as a fun page. And when I looked at when it was established, that page was established like in 2011. And the whole time I just kept it as a fun page. I barely even ran that page. So it was only like a year plus that I thought, okay, let's make this page active.
Yeah.
Actually, no, about 2 years actually. Let's make this page active. And then I was sitting and thinking, what can we call this page? Okay, maybe let's call it Patricia Ellis Fitness. Actually, it's not me who even came up with that suggestion. It was my partner at the time. He was like, why don't you call it Patricia Ellis Fitness? I was like, okay, that sounds like an idea. So named it Patricia Ellis Fitness, started posting some fitness videos, and then people were getting interested. They were following. At first, they were not sure if it was me, but through interaction, they'll probably get to realize it's me. And then we grew it to where it is today. Still growing though. Still growing. Yeah. Though social media is now a mess these days. You have people that are just evil. They would actually steal your entire profile and set up their own profile in the name of you.
Yeah.
So, but it's been growing like that. Instagram, I think I've been there forever. TikTok, I do a bit of, unwinding there. TikTok is for unwinding, by the way. People think like just because you're a newscaster, you can't unwind. We have different ways of unwinding. For me, TikTok is fun to unwind. So like I remember I did a video where I was dancing and oh my God, it trended, it was everywhere. And then you have these funny comments like, I look at you in a respectful way, but seeing you dance like this kind of changes how I look at you. I'm like thinking, dancing, guys, come on, don't be too uptight. So you find that sometimes they'll make you feel bad for just even dancing, and I'm just like, guys. Then I think I did another funny video which went viral. I think I was just doing it was a gym video about this muscle man that also went viral, and again it's the same comments. No, we seem to hold you in high esteem, so we see you doing these videos. I'm just like,
does it like get to your workplace, like?
Even if it does, it's me away from work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if I did do a TikTok video on set at my workplace, as long as I'm not insulting anyone.
Name of the organization.
No, as long as I'm not insulting anyone, as long as it's just a straightforward video, I do not see why anyone would make a fuss out of it, for crying out loud. But obviously, I do my TikTok videos away from work because I like to keep my work away from my like social media stuff and like that, because I understand that at the end of the day I have to separate myself from work and when I'm off work. Yeah, so pretty much TikTok. I do not understand Twitter. I do not know if I'm even interested to learn how it works. I have given up. I gave up a long time. I do have an account. I don't even know how to get to that account.
Okay.
But yeah, so pretty much it's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's pretty much Patricia Ellis. So it's Patricia Ellis on Facebook, it's Patricia Ellis, Miss Patricia Ellis on Insta, and it's Patricia Ellis Fitness as well for my page.
Okay, so what's your morning routine like on a day?
So my morning routine pretty much is that I will probably go for a walk or a run in the morning, and then go to the gym, depending. If I want to do a bit of cardio, it will be a run. If I want to just go to the gym and lift weights, go to the gym. Then from there, go to the office, do my work, then go home. But obviously exercise is the first thing I do in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I do. And obviously when I'm done working out, if I've got a bit of time before I go to work, I like to fit in a bit of reading. Like I'll just, get some inspirational quotes and read and stuff. There's always like a book by my bedside.
Yep.
So when I'm done with one book, I'll start the next one, just like that.
So what's one book you'd recommend, which like when you read was like,
Sure, I've read so many books. Would I even
but
recommend?
one
Would I even know?
where you're like, this one can change.
Okay, so I read a book recently by a Zambian writer called Let's Do Business. Her name is Tupelo. Yeah, King Tupelo Mulwe.
Okay.
Yeah. So this book, why I would recommend someone to read it is, it's got an interesting aspect to how people think that when you are a Christian, you are not supposed to go and do business and become rich and live this lavish lifestyle. So this book kind of says, look, it goes into the Bible and talks about how people did become rich. Like it talks about Abraham. He was a rich guy. They may not have had money, but they had gold, they had sheep, they had all those things. So they were rich people even in the Bible. It's just that the kind of rich that was in the Bible and the kind of rich that we have today obviously is different. Now we have all these cars, fancy cars. Maybe you've got 10 of them in a yard. You've built a whole lot of properties and stuff like that. But the lesson this book tells you is that don't sit back and relax to say, I'm a Christian. If I amass so much wealth, people will misunderstand me. I think you will preach the word better if you're well fed. If you don't show up, you walked all the way, say, from Charleston to town and say, I'm preaching the word of God. If you have a chance to do business, why not do business and make money? And maybe like the same Tupelo lady, she does all this business. She's got money, but also she pays back by running a foundation in her hometown, Mokushi. So you can still have all this money and still pay back, maybe by setting up a foundation. But it doesn't mean just because you're a Christian, now you're supposed to live a poor kind of lifestyle. So I liked her book, and I'm just thinking, wow, okay, this does make a lot of sense. And she does quote a whole lot of scripture, Bible verses that do support the fact that being Christian doesn't mean now you relax and not make money. As long as you're doing it correctly, you're making money the right way, it's still okay to do business as a Christian.
Okay.
So I think it's a book I would recommend. It's called Let's Do Business till what? Anyways, Let's Do Business. It's by a lady called Tupelo Mulwe. You can find her on Facebook with those names, and her book is just brilliant. Like that's the latest book that I've read that I can recommend anyone to read.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So look, you've had a journey where some watching this are hearing it for the first time. There are young ladies, young men out there watching and on the verge of giving up, and because life lifed.
Yeah, life lifed on them.
Yeah. So what words would you give them to just push through and
Okay. So what I can tell them, to be honest, is that don't give up. Don't give up, because life does get hard. Like you said, life does life you, whether you like it or not. I had some moments when life lifed me big time.
Yep.
Like you lose your dad at a young age, and then at some point you don't have support to go to school. You have to be out of school, and you're just thinking, I have this dream. This dream has to come true someday. And even when I was like, there's a point where I even used to make fritters and sell. I used to buy drinks and sell. I did it all just to make sure that I take myself back to school. I did 2-3 jobs just to make sure that I pay for my school fees. And the whole time, yes, as much as life was lifing me up, I was just thinking, yes, let it life me up. I will life it back one day when I achieve my purpose in life. And, yes, there will be hurdles. Others are lucky. They're born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Some of us, unfortunately, we're not born with a silver spoon in our mouths. But if you remain lying down there, if life kicks you and you fall down and you remain lying there, what's the worst that could happen? Remain lying down there, or just get up and try it anyway? Because at least if you get up and try, you'll be like, I tried anyway. Even if it fails, okay? Like you try so many things and they fail. At least you'll be super proud of yourself to say, I tried. At least I put in my best. It just didn't work out. If it does work out, what do you have to lose? It works out. Well and good for you. So yes, life will just life you up, left, right, center. You'll probably lose people that are important in your life along the way. Sometimes you just feel like, oh my God, what am I even doing here? there are times when even when I was paying for my school fees, sometimes I wouldn't even have money to pay for my school fees.
Yep.
You know, because when I finished my diploma, for the longest of time, obviously I had responsibilities, kids, that, this. At some point, when things were a bit better, I said, okay, let me take myself back and do, at least the time I was taking myself back to do my bachelor's degree, life was much better. But even then, there'll be times when maybe a semester, like I missed 2 semesters because I didn't have school fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I paid and I finished. So life will always life you up. But what's important is that when it
Don't give up.
kicks you and you fall down, don't remain lying there. Get up. If you have to get up crawling, get up. If you have to get up, however way you get up, just get up and face life head on. Because at least even if it doesn't work out, you'll be proud of yourself for having tried. But if it does work out, even better. So for me, it worked out, and I'm super happy. So I can only encourage a boy child, a girl child, particularly a girl child, but a boy child as well, because life does life up a boy child as well. I think it's even rough on a boy child than it is on a girl child. Trust me. So for the boy child there, a girl child who's, you know, going through a rough time, maybe school fees are not available, they can't find money to pay their school fees. Trust me, it will all come together. I had to do all sorts of jobs. I had to be a waitress. I had to do cassava in a factory. I didn't even, I mean, ideally, I would have even said, but what will people think of me? Because, I mean, I always used to get people ridicule me because of my skin color. So when they see you looking all unkempt or maybe looking all poor and stuff, which at some point I did look like, they would make fun of you and say, kamsungu kachula, kamsungu kandalawa, and stuff like that. For me, they would say all those things, and I would just be like, okay, that hurts. But then it did not stop me from even working as, you know, a girl that was peeling cassava in a factory. I was working with these guys peeling cassava in a factory, and I'm just there unconcerned, super happy. Luckily, I had these bosses from Europe who like really liked me. Maybe that kind of helped. But still, like for me, I was super proud. When I got my first check, the happiness. I was like, first check in my life. I was 15 when I got my first check. Paycheck. I got this outfit. I think I got 2 outfits, and I went home. That time I was living with my aunt. I went, bought food. It felt nice. I was like, yes, I bought them food with my money. I worked hard. So do anything you have to, even if you have to peel cassava in a factory, if you have to go and sell something on the street, you know. At some point, I even sold rice. My stepmom used to go and bring rice from Nakonde, and she would send me on the you know, like on the corridor to go and sell. And for me, it didn't matter. Like for me, it didn't matter what I did, as long as I made money to be able to advance my dream, or at least to be able to advance my education so that I can see my dream come true. So it didn't matter. Even today, trust me, if I had to even do any kind of odd job just because I'm in a hard situation, I would do it all over again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much. This has been quite a conversation.
quite a mouthful.
At least I've held it down by making sure that we don't reverse the roles. So
you managed. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I was actually tempted to just come over there and become the presenter, but it's okay. I said, let me be the guest here. But thank you very much for having me.
Awesome.
And it was awesome just to be able to share and encourage young people out there and just being able to stay afloat and achieve their dreams. I think you do get to achieve your dream if you just stay focused.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Umubanga podcast. Hopefully you have been inspired, informed, as well as transformed. So from me, Dennis Umubanga Kaumbe, it's bye-bye.